Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Kim. Today I'm going to be doing my second round of my TBR game, which is now called TBR Trail. Okay, so I started this game back last month. I'll put the first video down in the description if you wanted to go and check out the rules and everything. I explain everything there. Very briefly, I'll just say there are 4 different colours which correspond to different genres, but where those pieces land on the board dictates what genre the prompts align with rather than the colour of the piece itself. So that's a little bit confusing. So my rule is that I pick out 4 books every time I play the game to try and read in the following month. And I have to say, June was a bit of an epic fail for me. I'll talk more about it in my wrap-up. I'm actually going to do a May-June joint wrap-up because I just couldn't find the words to speak about the books that I'd read in May last month. I was kind of in a bit of a reading slump last month and just a bit slumpy in general. Like, I think I kind of got that vibe from quite a few people where I think just like, you know, there's so much stuff happening in the world that needs our immediate attention that reading does fall by the wayside a little bit. Which is fine for that to happen every now and then, obviously. So I decided not to beat myself up too much about it and just get on with it and plan July. Anyway, so with that in mind, that I've had a really terrible reading month, of the 4 books that I pulled last month from the TBR game, this one and also In 5 Years, which I'll put a picture above for that, I read. Well, okay, so I say I read In 5 Years. I actually DNF'd it in the end at 60%. If you've read the book, you know it kind of takes a bit of a turn at some point, and I just didn't really feel up for reading that kind of book right now. But I did manage to read As She Climbed Across the Table by Jonathan Lethem all the way through, despite hating this book. I mean, I feel really bad that I hate this book because it was a gift. I'll talk more about it in my wrap-up, what my actual thoughts were on this book, but yeah, I felt it was problematic in parts, in quite a lot of parts. I hated the main character. He was the most arrogant person ever to walk the fictional space that I've read. And yeah, anyway, I'll talk more about that in my wrap-up, but I did read that. So that was 2 out of the 4 because I didn't manage to get to these 2. As you can see, I have very vaguely started to read Mythos, but I've only got 2 days left of June now, so there's no way I'm going to finish. So my punishment for not reading books in my game, from my game, is I only get to roll twice this month because I've already got these 2 books still on my TBR from the last game. So I don't add any more books to my TBR because that would just completely overwhelm me. Plus, I find it really fun to like roll the dice and pick a new book. So I've taken that joy away from myself this month. So hopefully I will be completing Mythos by Stephen Fry and also Nothing, which is by various writers, in July still, hopefully. I really want to get to these, so I definitely don't want to boot them off my TBR. And hopefully I'll enjoy them way more than the other 2 that I just did not like. Okay, so anyway, that was a bit long-winded. On with the rolls. Okay guys, so it's time for my 2 rolls for July, my 2 extra rolls. I've put everything back to how it was at the end of my June TBR. So we're on the black scrolls turn, so they can only come out if I roll a 6, which I did. Yeah, that's good times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means I can take one of these, and this means that this prompt corresponds to non-fiction. So this is read a book by an author with a surname beginning with S. So, okay, I'm going to pop that here because it's a non-fiction prompt. Okay, so the first prompt that came up was read a non-fiction book by an author with a surname beginning with S. And so for that, I picked a book on my 20 books to read in 2020, and that's Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. I've wanted to read this book for so long, so I'm really excited to hopefully get to it in July. I think it's going to be a hard read. He basically goes around all the farms, I think, and actually does investigative work about the food industry and eating animals in general. It's 10 years old now, I think, this book, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be mainly relevant. I don't think anything's massively changed in the past 10 years, as far as I know. Okay, so on to my final roll this month. Now it's Purple's turn, so let's see if we can get a purple out, ready for August, ready to go. No. Okay, so purple can't come out. So back on red, we've already got 1 out, and there's some in the corner. So I can bring another guy out, or I can move this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Or 1, 2, 4. So it's fiction or 20 and 20. So I'm going to pick fiction because I have got some fiction that I need to read this month. I seem to have managed to get myself into like 100 book clubs. So yeah, if I can fit like one of those books from the book club onto this TBR, that would be really handy. Okay, and it's just another book one. So that's this beige pot again. Overwhelmingly beige. Oops. Oh, this could work actually. Read a book with pink on the cover. Okay, so I kind of lucked out with the final prompt that I got, which was to read a fiction book with a pink cover, with pink on the cover, I should say. And for that, I'm picking up one of my book club's books this month. So I'm kind of doing like 3 different book club straight read-alongs. I've got my friends and family one, I've got the Elderling Along, which is run by Becca and the Books, and I've also got Life's Library, which is run by John Green and Rosianna. And the pick for Life's Library this month is Blonde Route by Bernardine Evaristo, which has pink on the cover. Kind of. It's very much more purple and very much more red, but there's definitely going to be a shade of pink in there somewhere, so I'm going with this. Yeah, so this is a kind of reimagining of history. It imagines a world where Africans captured and enslaved Europeans, instead of obviously the other way around, how it happened in reality. So I'm very intrigued to read this one. And yeah, this is not new actually. This is also 2009, I think. Yeah, this is also 2009. I assume because it's won some sort of youth award that it may be more of a young adult book, but I'm actually not sure. I'll let you know once I've read it and I know more about the book. So those are my picks from TBR Trail. So in addition to those 4, I've got 2 extra books that I also want to try and read in the month of July. The first one is the 3rd book in the Farseer trilogy, which is for the Elderling Along, like I mentioned earlier, is run by Becca and the Books. And absolutely enjoyed this whole series. I absolutely love it. It follows this boy called Fitz, and when Fitz was 6, his grandfather, or his maternal grandfather, takes him to the royal family and says, "This is the King-in-Waiting's son. I don't want anything to do with him anymore. I don't want to feed him. You deal with him. I'm leaving." And so he's left with the royal family, and by the time he kind of gets taken to the main royal court place, his father has abdicated from being king-in-waiting and has gone. And so from there you kind of just follow Fitz as he grows up and his interactions with people in the keep, and I just absolutely love this series so much. It's very, very slow paced, but it's really intriguing. The world just seems real. Like, crazy things happen. It's quite magical, there is magic in it, but you just buy into every part of it. It just seems so real, and it's really good. And I'm very invested. And book 2 like left on like quite a, well, it ended in a very dramatic way. So I'm excited to read book 3. And finally, for my own book club that I run with my friends and family, we've just picked Small Island by Andrea Levy, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading that and discussing with friends and family. I don't know too much about this book actually at all yet. I haven't looked into it too much, but I think it follows somebody who arrives into the UK from Jamaica, and that's all I know about it yet, so I'll talk more about that once I've read it. And I will definitely be reading that one because our book club's at the start of August, so it definitely needs to be read in July. Yeah, so sorry I only rolled 2 rolls this month. Hopefully my reading will be much better in July, and then I'll be able to roll 4 more times. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for joining if you have joined recently. I've seen a little spike in my subscribers, and it's really exciting every time someone new subscribes to me, so thank you very much for coming to hang out. I hope that everybody's doing well, and I look forward to chatting to you guys down in the comments. Okay, take care guys, bye.